Hi everybody. This is my take on revitalisation. It's mainly in how I work. I'm a textile designer, garment designer, artist and a maker. I also collect old things, and I have done for a long time, and I tend to love to give them new life or restore them or use them as a starting point for a new design. I've got a store loving Tokyo and Fremantle, but prior to that I was a building designer and lecturer and architectural illustrator, and one of my personal projects was to build a house out of reclaimed timber and building materials, design and build it, and this was in 1986, so I've been doing this type of thing for a long time. I predominantly do textile and garment designs now. My prints evolve all the way through as well, so I use it. This is a peony print which started off as a simple screen print, and it's evolved into a digital print. So I like to reinvigorate designs because I don't tend to work with seasons. I like to have longevity with my work, so I'm not trend driven. I reuse a lot of vintage pieces and embellishments and rework them. That's an Art Deco piece in the bottom corner which I've reworked into a new piece on a garment and over-dyed it to tie all the elements together. This beaded vest was actually made from many, many pieces of bead fragments. I fused them and hand-stitched them all to a new backing cloth to make a new cloth. The garment underneath also has vintage textiles. These all belong to a collection called the Fragility Collection. This vest was also made from a very, very fragile piece of cloth which was woven silk and silver. It was so fragile it would tear, so I had to again back this onto a cloth and hand stitch it to create a new one. This is using new fabric but embellishing it with, I've done some block printing with an old Indian block print and embellished it with pieces of old beading and fabric. It's also part of the Fragility collection. I do lots of collections, but they seem to tie into one another. This is the complete collection which was shown at the Perth Fashion Festival, a Perth Fashion Festival runway show. There's others, some of the garments that have just been shown previously there, but there's also some others which are a combination of new and reclaimed fabrics. I also collect lots of things, but I collect vintage and antique purses. A lot of them are very old and well worn, have links missing, so I darn them with copper threads and embellish with found objects and create jewellery. I collected so many I decided to turn it into a print design, which is called Miss Chatelaine. This is another print I've made from a collection of old Japanese fabrics. I made a collage of some of my favourite ones that were just really worn and non-usable. I used an old purse. The body of the purse was very fragile, so I made a new one with the new fabric. I also apply my prints to lampshades and chairs, and I've reused lamp bases here. I reupholster old furniture, mainly chairs, nothing bigger than this, with traditional techniques. It's very comfy as well, I must say. The cat loves it. This collection is from the Bird and the Kimono collection, which was taken from the original kimono collage print, and I've enlarged and created a new design with different colourways. All of these garments, when I started doing these, all of these garments have been made out of one single piece of fabric that have either been rectangles or squares draped on a mannequin and draped and tucked. So there's no waste. Every piece is used. I only do very limited edition lengths of these digital prints, like between 5 and 10 metres of each colourway on particular base cloths. I get inspired by a lot of things, a lot of my collections, but also architecture, a lot of historic architecture. A lot of it forms basis of design ideas for these two following collections, which is layering the ornament and mosaic. This print was taken, it was inspired by a brick pier outside of a hotel I stayed in Melbourne. It was a carved, rendered brick pier. And the leaf print I developed into a print, and I supersized it so that the leaves and the stems actually wrap the body on the garment when it's on the body. This print is actually it's called the dress print, very simple. This is the original dress that I made, and I photographed it and decided to turn it into a print to give longevity to the dress. So this is a lot of pieces I do are one-off pieces. So this has given an extra life to that print on other garments. This is also from the Layering the Ornament collection, which was shown as part of the Fremantle Fashion Collective. That image is actually taken from a collection of old jugs and the leaf print overlaid over the top of one another. And the jewellery is made out of old tea strainers and spoons and little jugs. This is the Mosaic collection, which is my recent one, inspired by beautiful old mosaic floors. This was an exhibition I had at the Moores Gallery September last year. I've applied it to silks for garments and also wallpaper and linen and cotton for chairs. This is the mosaic prints applied to silks for dresses. This was also shown at the Fremantle Fashion Collective runway show at B-Shed last year. So it's a combination of all the different prints I've done. Plus there's also the edited little bits of embellishment. I was also invited to be part of a book by London-based design author Bradley Quinn. I was very excited to be asked, so I said yes, of course. So it's such an honour to be in this book, which was launched in London and New York last year. So thank you very much.